Hi, and welcome to Something for the Weekend, brought to you as always by Together 2012. We're a community interest company led by disabled artists in the London Borough of Newham, and we're creating a Paralympic cultural legacy in East London and beyond. One of the ways we do that is bring you this live stream today, which also includes lots of news of our club's programme and also of our current Together 2021 Disability History Month Festival. I'm Ju Gosling, also known as the artist Ju90. I'm artistic director of Together 2012. With me in my East London studio, where, as viewers will know, she's been locked down since March 2020, is our chair, the artist and activist, Julie Newman. We're going to come back to East London in a moment for some audio description, further introductions, and to tell you what we're dressed up to go out to stay in to do this week. But, but first, over to the other end of our long virtual wheeled sofa, where for once we have a solitary presenter.
Oh, I'm never alone. So good day, everybody. Yes, I am Robin Surgeon up here in the West Midlands. I am business director at Together 2012 and an artist known as Angry Fish. As Ju said, yeah, we are up here in the studio in the Midlands. I am seated in front of our velvety, deep red studio curtains, keeping us nice and warm and cozy, because it has got wintry up here. Hence, I am wearing today. What do I look like? I am wearing a black thinsulate bubble hat to keep myself warm. I am wearing my new blue-rimmed glasses in front of my blue eyes. I am particularly unshaven this week. I'm deliberately unshaven, I think, to be a better description. And below my beard is a rather lovely, thick-weighted brown sweatshirt with a kind of grey inside collar, I think, and a zip at the neck. So it's like I've got a quarter neck on it. And you can't normally see my legs, but I am wearing black tracksuit trousers next to lovely wheels. And I am dressed like this. I'm dressed up to go out, to stay in, to go out in my garden. So I'm wearing this hat and a lovely thick woolly sweater because I'm going to do some winter gardening. Ordered in some bulbs and stuff online, and going to just pop a few bulbs in the ground, and then maybe a few like pansies and some winter pansies, and just feel a bit colourful for the next few weeks at least, and then wait for the snow that's forecast for next weekend to go, and then the flowers to come up.
I think you might find you have to wait a little bit longer for the flowers to come up in a couple of weeks. But I think that's a really lovely idea. I put bulbs in last autumn in pots for the first time, got in such a long time and got so much pleasure out of them, right through the spring and summer. And of course, you can grow bulbs indoors. You don't even need a windowsill, do you? It's lovely to do hyacinths at this time of year. I think when we were still running in person activities, we went through phases of turning ice cream tubs into planters and then leaving them out. So the neighbours got lots of spider plants, but also some bulbs. So again, if you're looking, if you want to plant some bulbs, the pound shop, in fact, usually has them. But they're so easy to order online and incredibly reasonably priced as well. So yeah, I think that sounds like a great thing to do. Well, back in East London, what do I look like today? Well, I've got a new purple trilby covering mercifully a self-styled hennaed corona crop. I've got green eyes behind black plastic glasses. I've got pale olive skin. I've got black plastic wrist braces, silver coloured jewellery, and a sort of purpley blue diagonally striped shirt on. And I'm dressed up to go out to stay in to produce tonight's Together 2021 Disability History Month event, and we'll tell you, well, I'll leave that to Julie to tell you a little more about. Behind us, we've got the Together 2012 graffiti banner. You can only see a little bit of it, but it's covered with images of all the activities that we include over the course of a year, even at home. So we're still doing carnival arts, along with dance, drama, photography, filmmaking, visual arts, live music, and much, much more. And we'll tell you more about some of those activities in just a little while. Hidden almost behind Julie, but I'll bring her out later for introductions, is our teddy bear, Anna, who's hoping to be able to wear a medal if we triumph in today's Clockwork Paralympics, coming up, as always, about halfway through the show. But Julie, who are you? What do you look like? And what are you dressed up to go out to stay in to do today?
Hi, I'm Julie Newman. I'm the chair of Together 2012. Today, I have a black hat on with a wide brim. It's actually bigger than Ju's.
She's the chair.
I'm the chair, yeah. I've got dark rimmed glasses. I'm channeling my inner Rosie Jones by having my hair in bunches, because Rosie Jones is a disabled comedian, and I think she's hilariously funny. That she does all sorts of interesting things with her long hair. I'm wearing a black backed T-shirt with a picture in the middle of it in purples and whites and reds and blacks and browns of a plague doctor from the 16th century. So I'm perhaps also channeling my inner plague doctor. Who's to say? But this is in anticipation for tonight, where happily I'm honoured to be comparing an hour of women's comedy. It never intended to be women's comedy, but they were the ones. Well, we are the ones who came forward.
Well, that's not quite true, speaking as the festival director. So I've commissioned an evening of women's comic. Well, it's mostly comic poetry. And we've got Helena Asquith, who's a young artist, emerging, but very, very good. And she's from the north of England, and she's doing a piece called Space Invaders, which is very much about how she feels as a visually impaired person when people keep invading her space. We have Sheryl Mcclellan, who is, recently joined, I'm pleased to say, our club's programme, but is a very long-standing comic and poet who's recently returning to work and exploring online possibilities. And then finally, we have Wendy Young, who's appeared at Together festivals previously. She's also run workshops for us. She's a very, very popular poet in a lot of demand, so we're delighted she can join us tonight. It's on Zoom. It's from 7 to 8 o'clock. It's entirely free, like everything we do in our festival, and we're going to tell you more about the festival later. But the main thing is that you can either go onto our website, www.together2012.org.uk, and you'll find the programme there and booking links through to Eventbrite, where you can book a ticket for Zoom, or you can simply go to the main programme page, which says, unsurprisingly, Together 2021 Disability History Month Festival. And at the top of that page, we will be embedding the live stream to YouTube. So you can also watch it on YouTube, where unsurprisingly, we're Together 2012 CIC. So we're really looking forward to that. But now we're going to move on. Well, actually, first of all, Robin, where is our co-host?
I do believe that she is arriving, actually. So if you'd like
It's
to,
like Santa, isn't it?
go solo for a minute, I shall get Tracy in to join us just in time for real stuff.
Well, I tell you what, if you pop yourself on mute, we will just start with the Pop-Up Poetry Club and bring you back to join us. So the Pop-Up Poetry Club runs on a Wednesday morning from 10:30 to 12, and it's the only club that we run by telephone because, of course, that makes it much more accessible for some people. And the Pop-Up Poetry Club has continued otherwise to run in a very, very similar way to the way it used to do in person. The only difference is you have to provide your own hot drinks and snacks, and that's a sort of ongoing source of well, disappointment to us that we can't continue to bring you free refreshments that have always been so much part of what we do. But apart from that, the group meets, they might do some vocal warm-ups and some breathing, or just share some poems they found in the week. People write on a topic. We ring off about 11 so that people have got about 20-25 minutes to just write. And then people come back on the call and share their poems. We call you and we pay all of the costs, so there's no need to worry about that. So what was this week's theme, Julie?
This week's theme was puddles and rain.
And would you like to start with a poem?
Thank you, Ju. Yes, I would. The first one is by Pizer Neve Malloch. It's called Puddles. At the age of 78, I still enjoyed and feel great going into every puddles on the road, making sure they're free from toad, as they love to jump from one puddle to another. Bathing and swimming in the clear water, I really enjoy going through each puddle, ensuring that I don't get into trouble splashing any passers-by instead of saying hi. I like puddles for a specific reason, especially during the rainy season. My wheels are stuffed with dry falling leaves, and my tyres get coated with mud like reeves. So how do I get rid of them? Before going shopping at Debenhams, people would think I live at farms. No, I live in clean and busy East Ham, but there are lots of puddles around where I can clean my wheels, tyres up and down, tyres dried when the sun shines, and I look forward to next time.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Pizer, and welcome to Tracy. I think we should come over to the West Midlands for some introductions and audio description from Tracy and discover what she's dressed up to go out to stay in to do.
Okay. Well, hi. It's nice to be with you. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. So I'm Tracy, and I'm up in the West Midlands studio. And today I've got my long blonde hair tied up in a ponytail. I've got pale skin, blue eyes, and today I'm wearing a pinky, purple, and black multicoloured snood, which is a scarf that's not got ends. It's a circle, so you can just wrap it around your head, or around your neck. I've got a dark purple jumper on, a Chanel jumper. Chanel's a really thick wool, and on my sleeves, down the sleeve of my jumper, it's got little black laces, so quite nice, and black trousers. And today I'm dressed up to go out to stay in to do an online card making session.
And that sounds very interesting. And of course, later in the programme, we've got your Join In with Tracy craft activities. And I believe if we look back in the Join In from Home programme on the website, you'll find card making activities with Tracy. But I think there's going to be lots more to come if you're dressed up to take it seriously. We know what that means. So have you got a poem to read for us?
I've got a poem by Dawn Barber, and it's entitled Rain and Puddles. We have rain, we have puddles. We cannot give them cuddles. Sometimes the rain is heavy. Sometimes the puddles are big and wide. We like to hear the rain on the windowsill, but not when we're outside. Children like to splash in the puddles, but mums do not want to get wet. Birds and pigeons drink out the water. When the rain stops, sun shines in the puddles. It looks like a mirror of hope.
Oh, what a lovely thought. Thank you for that, Dawn, and thank you for reading that, Tracy. This is Crystal Peasy, and it's called Rain. There was a lot of raining. There are a lot of puddles. And the puddles are all different colours, raining Sunday on the raincoats and raining outside. But the jumping is a great game, and the kids play in the rain. The children are splashing in the puddles on the sidewalk. I don't like the rain because it makes me very ill, and my wheelchair won't work properly when it's raining. I hate getting wet when I'm driving my wheelchair, and I find it difficult to drive. When I drive, I have crashes all the time. When I drive my wheelchair, I cannot see. And if I keep crashing, they will take my wheelchair away. So I think it's worth remembering that puddles are not always the sort of happy thing for wheelchair users that go, oh, look, I can wash my wheels. Because if you're going out when it's raining and still creating puddles, then particularly if you wear glasses, it all becomes very, very tricky indeed. Thank you for that, Crystal, and thank you very much for sharing it. I think you've got one for us next, Robin.
I have, yes. This is one from Blake Jarrett Gibbons. We've not read one of Blake's for a while, so this is going to be a pleasure. This is called Scaffolding Puddles. Don't you dare race through the puddles and splash me. If you aquaplane after soaking me, and I will laugh and cry, water drops, just like the sky. Only difference, they'll run more directly down my face. The dogs love splashing in the puddles, though getting back home, woof woof, get here, you need drying now. Home now, and time to dry myself. Rain, rain, rain. This can be lovely, cold yet somewhat refreshing. However, this can also end up being a pain, especially when just outside your window is a metal drain cover, and above is a load of scaffolding. Even after the rain has stopped, drip, 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 hitting the drain cover, plonk. Oh, come on, you plonkers. Why did you put that gap in the boards by my window? Mind you, shouldn't be too fussed. I'm still out in the rain more often than not. My high-headed shower is cooling. It falls from above like rain. And no, it's not quite purple rain. Why does it always rain on me? No, it's not me. That's Travis asking.
Thank you, Blake. And last, I would say, but no means least, Julie, I think you've got one of your poems for us.
Thank you. Excuse me. This is just called Puddles. The shower starts falling softly at first, barely marking the dry road. The birds notice the sound, which gradually spreads with the slapping of leaves. The gentle drumming grows with an increasing beat to the building rain. No other music is needed. The symphony sounding now, drowning the everyday noises into the background. And the puddles appear. From nowhere they emerge. Bottomless, dark, dark wells calling to the thirsty, dry, dusty, parched world. Then suddenly pools merge and start to flow with a driven force. Rivulets push their way from the side of the road over the rapidly disappearing surface, and the steady stream of fast-flowing water rises onto the pavements over the curbs. The current grows, pushing the flow even faster, swallowing up all in its path in a hunger to move towards the ultimate unknown end. Storm pipes filled by this torrent of its substance, then suddenly, abruptly, the rain stops. No more than a few recalcitrant drops fall. The wind lessens. All that is heard is the sound of rushing water. The torrent pulses with a life now independent, fed by the push of the drive to merge, to find the great water. The river calls the floodwaters home to join the journey to the sea, to join this land, once barren, now flooded and changed, has become a waterway, part of the rising tide against a resistant world. The land will fight back. Roads and fields emerging from the receding flood levels will form a causeway gradually, tentative at first, no sudden parting of the waters, but over days the water will recede, leaving muddy footprints with the sludge of memory, until the puddles formed will dry.
Thank you, Julie. And that was a very nice way to end the poetry report.
Just to say for next week, the theme for next week is autumn colours.
Autumn colours. Yes, if you'd like to join in from home, we would love to see your poems, whether or not you want us to read them out. So, yes, autumn colours, lots of inspiration there. So we're going to move on and have a look at some work from the Together 2012 Art Club. The Art Club has 2 sessions a week, and the work we're going to look at first was produced last Friday at the Still Life session. The way the Still Life session works is one of the team creates an image as a photograph and shares that photograph at the beginning of the session, but they can also text, email, or WhatsApp it to you if that's easier. And if you'd like to join in from home, we always put the image up on our highlights and links page, which is available from about 4 o'clock on a Thursday and contains all of the artwork, poems, videos that we've shown, and also links to what we recommend. So this Still Life was created by our new youth worker, Kate Rollison. And yes, why not ask Robin to audio describe it as he hasn't seen it? I think you'll find this a little bit easier, but we'll see.
Excellent. You are correct. So we have just a white cloth background to this image. Then it's made up of 5 very small, I guess, bone china cottages, a blue one, a yellow one, a light blue one, an orange one, and a kind of grey one, in a lovely little line. And then in the front, there is one kind of spidery grass, and then behind a couple of the houses is a more palmy grass, giving a kind of really luscious, overgrown feel to the picture.
Thank you, Robin. I think they're actually air plants. So this first one is by Sophia and it's in felt tip. And Sophia's really kind of brightened them up with the use of the colour and really very, very good representation. So this next one is by Margaret Spence, and I think Margaret's used colouring pencils, and she's got a really good sense of the dimensions and the perspective between the cottages, and she's also really kind of focused on the plants, and it almost looks like nature is taking over after the apocalypse, perhaps. And this one is by Lee Brooker. I think Lee has used a mixture of different materials on this. Like Margaret, he's really gone to town on the plants, and he's also focused on the shadow and actually exaggerated the shadow around. And again, he's made like the other artists, he's made them very much look like real houses. So he's sort of developed the windows and doors a little bit. And then this one is by Crystal Peasy, and Crystal has painted it. And Crystal's actually, as she quite often does, she's rearranged it. So she's focused on just 3 houses, and she's got the plants in the middle of them coming out and have got different colours. I think it's a really interesting approach, because as we always say, the still lifes show that everybody can look at the same thing and do something completely different and have a completely different style. So thank you for that, Crystal. And then finally for today, this one is by Sheryl Mcclellan, and it's got a lovely background painted. I think she's washed the background blue and painted the houses, but used something possibly like charcoal or pencil to draw the houses in first. And again, the plants just look like they're completely taking over, and she's put some real movement into it. So it sort of looks like the ones are tumbling over the roofs and approaching right into the centre. So if you'd like to join the art club, all you've got to do is drop us a line, info@together2012.org.uk. We'll take your details and send you the link. The art club also meets on a Tuesday for a make and natter session. And for the make and natter session, you can either bring any craft project that you're working on. You might knit, you might crochet, you might do all sorts of things, and just enjoy being a bit sociable, showing it to other people, getting some feedback. Or each week, we also lead an activity based on using recycling you've already got at home. So this week, I think they had a sneak preview of scrapbooking, but I just wanted to show you instead a couple of Duncan Bridgestock's collages. Duncan's been working on his collages in the art club session for about 12 months now, and as part of our festival, I'm delighted to say we have a whole exhibition of over 50 collages under the title Because I Felt Like It. And I just wanted to show you a couple today as a sort of example of what we do in the Make and Natter Club. So this one is called Shape Improv. Robin, could you just give a bit of very, very quick audio description?
I knew you were going to do that. Okay, so this is a very white rectangle, and then there is a series of dark shapes cut from, I would imagine, a magazine. In fact, looking at it, I think it's a magazine for a supermarket, and I reckon there's a bit of cake you can see in there, and it's amazing. So there are lots of L shapes and right angles, as is kind of usual with Duncan's work. There's a few other shapes creating kind of walkways and paths, kind of through to find your giant cake, and your eye actually helps you build that. It's incredible.
Thank you, Robin. So the other one that I've put up is called Shape Improv, and it's very similar. I just want to also flag up that within the exhibition of Duncan's work, there's a video at the end which was actually recorded over the phone because he didn't have a very strong internet connection. But Julie was kind enough to record it over the phone, and then we've put some more of the images up. But Duncan talks for about 5 minutes about what inspired him to do the collages, the collage experts of the past in the 20th century that he follows, collage communities online, and why he chose the L shapes that are quite a repeated pattern in his work. It's absolutely fascinating. I can't recommend it highly enough. And of course, it's so much easier to see these collages when they've been scanned than when we're just having to hold them up to Zoom. So it's a wonderful opportunity after all these months of having glimpses of the collages. And there's a huge range as well. Sorry, Julie, I thought you wanted to say something, but as time is ticking on, I'm going to jump swiftly on and say that if you're ready, Tracy, I think it's time to join in with Tracy and find out your craft activity this week. So I'm just going to,
Yes. Well, I thought to start with, I'd show you, which is I usually do it the other way around. This is a bag that I've made out of paper. So I've quickly got one. It's really strong, actually. Rodin, could you just demonstrate how many things we got in there? 1, 2, 3. So I did manage to get 3 quite big teddy bears in there. Well, beanie bears. But it's incredibly strong. I mean, I've not done this before. This was a complete sort of, let's have a go. Thinking of needing various shaped things to put things in soon in December. I thought I'd have a go, and yeah, I'm really, really pleased with the way it's come out. And I think I'm going to practice more with like bits of old wallpaper and wrapping paper and see what I can come up with. So yes, today I'm
just going to say I can believe it's that strong only because somebody bought me a bunch of these bags made from old newspapers at least 10 years ago, and I'm still using them and reusing them and reusing them. So I'm going to pop your first image on the screen.
Yeah, so basically for this you need some newspaper. Well, I've used newspaper, but as I said, we could try it with wrapping paper or old wallpaper. Something to make a handle. I got a string out to make a handle, but then I found an old lanyard that I'd got and thought, that would work nicely. So anything to make a handle, and some glue. So yeah, it's I think we've got a link actually on our website as well about how to make this. So it's all a case of folding. So we've got a double sheet of newspaper, and you make one big fold across the bottom, and then with newspaper, it's difficult to see where it is and isn't folded, isn't it? So that way you've folded over about 1/3 from the right-hand side into the middle, into the left-hand side. And then you do the same again. You bring your left-hand side in over to your middle, and I folded it underneath and then glued that together. You can see the glue line where that's had to dry. This bit was a bit more complicated. Basically, what you do then when it's dried is you fold it up again, a couple of inches up again. I've probably made that a bit bigger so that you can see it better. And that is what creates the bottom of the bag. And then this is where the magic is. So you've got that fold up for the bottom of your bag. And any of those people out there that like making paper aeroplanes, you'll understand exactly how this works. So basically you fold out the sections of the middle to create this sort of, I don't know what shape that is. So you've got your long rectangle and then 2 triangles at the end. And then what you need to do is you just glue a little bit of each corner of the triangle and fold them so they stick to you fold it over and then they stick to the other side, which creates that flat bottom. And then for the sides of the bag, to make the depth in your bag, you fold about 1.5 inches inwards on both sides. And then, so when you've done your inwards, you turn it over again and fold it again. It's just to create the crease so that you've got the width of your bag. And voila, there we have a bag. And then, like I said earlier, I was going with string and thought, see what else I can find. And we've always got lanyards hanging around the house for various things we've been to. So I cut it off and used the it's like a plasticky material and use it as a handle. Thought it made it look a bit more swish.
So that's great, Tracy. And like you say, with the festive season coming up and birthdays happening all the time, it's got all sorts of uses. I've just found them really strong and really useful. So that will be on the highlights and links page. But also, if you go to our Join In From Home menu on the together2012.org.uk website, go to the pull down menu and join in with Tracy. You'll find lots more activities with recycled materials. And as I said last week, I'm delighted that this month we've been shortlisted as Newham's Green Business of the Year, due, I'm sure, in no small part to Tracy's work. And in fact, I heard last night we've just been shortlisted by East London Rotary for the East London Community Heroes Award. So thank you very much to the Rotary. But now we will move on to another hero, Sterre Ploeger, and see what we're going to join in with Sterre to do this week.
Hi, I'm Sterre, and I made a painting of fire out of leaves.
So for anybody who couldn't see that, Sterre created a picture of a fire by putting glue onto black card, using some twigs that she picked up outside to make the bonfire, and then actually using golden autumn leaves to make the flames. I thought that was a wonderful representation of an autumn bonfire. So we're going to move swiftly on to the Clockwork Paralympics. Our ballet bear Anna is waiting to see whether that she's going to have the right to wear a medal. And what's your small red teddy called, Robin? Oh, you're still on mute. Hang on.
Sorry about that. Yes, this is a return of Checo after his disappointing performance last week. He wishes to have another go.
Well, Anna has got really excited because Sign Dance Collective, who gave us a wonderful performance on Tuesday night, and the video is now on the website, like all of the past festival performances, and they're coming back on Monday morning from 11 to 12 to do a free dance on Screen Club on Zoom. So again, all of that information is on our website, but Anna is really looking forward to it. So we're back with our Winter Paralympians, the Clockwork Snowmen, in the bathroom for no apparent reason except that we were enjoying that for the Paralympic swimmers. So if you'd like to join in from home, decide whether you're going to support the toy on the right or the left side of the screen. And Robin and Tracy, who's your snowman this week? Or snow person, I should say.
We'll go for the left.
So here we are in our venue of choice, the Aquarama Winter Racetrack. Okay, well, as ever, they are off to a stunning start. Not sure, they both seem to be going in opposite directions and turning. This one's going to be a hard one to call, certainly from here. Yeah. Well, we have incredibly won the Birmingham team there after that rather meandering performance from both athletes, rather like some of those people used to do at the end of the marathon, wandering all over the streets rather vaguely. So unlucky at that end. However, I'm going to present Checo, who'll be very happy with a gold medal from the CP World Games as a representative of his fabulous Commonwealth performance.
I always love seeing your family collection of medals. We have the same single gold plastic one from London 2012 as before. So we're going to move on and have a quick look at the week ahead. All of these recommendations and more will be on the highlights and links page. And of course, the first thing we have to do is look ahead to the festival. So as well as having a dance on screen workshop, which is open to all disabled people and whoever you want to have with you on Monday morning from 11 to 12, on Monday afternoon from 2:30 to 4, we have a sign poetry workshop with D.L. Williams for anybody who uses sign. It's going to be in British Sign Language, but that, of course, is what things like Simple Sign are based on. DL came and gave a very successful, popular workshop as part of the Newham Word Festival for us in July. So we're really looking forward to them returning. Then on Tuesday night, we have a wonderful evening of postcode stories from our very own associate drama company, Act Up Newham. Viewers of something of our previous show, Together Unlocked, may remember that throughout lockdown 1, in fact, and beyond, Act Up Newham created a film for us every single week. They kept rehearsing, even though they'd never worked online before. They did a wonderful international performance with a group from Chile for last year's festival, and now they return with a presentation of multimedia stories based on lived experience of being disabled in East London. That's going to be filmed. There's also going to be a live discussion and Q&A session. So do book for that. As always, it's free. You can find booking links on our website, or if you find all of that too complicated, and goodness knows we can understand that, you can just click on the top of the festival program page at the appropriate time and watch the YouTube stream. Then on Wednesday, Robin and I will be leading, and indeed Julie will be leading, a conference for the events industry on how to make online and live events much more accessible and inclusive of disabled people. So really looking forward to that. We've got the Events Industry Forum, the Association of Festival Organisers, the Edinburgh Festival Fringe Society, Queer House Party and more. It's going to be a really, really exciting day. If you just want to contribute as a person who enjoys going to events, then please do book a ticket. That won't be streamed live to YouTube, but we do hope to have the recording available later. And if you miss any of the of the evening performances on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. The videos will usually be online by 7 o'clock the next night for you to enjoy at your leisure. And then last but by no means least, for next week, next Thursday, Hera present a digital opera based on the experiences of PIP claimants, again followed by a discussion and a live Q&A. And we'll tell you a little bit more about that in next Thursday's show, but I do encourage you to book now. And as always, everything we do has got sign language interpretation and live captions, courtesy of Global Real-Time Captioning. Robin and Tracy, what else would you recommend for the week ahead?
Okay, the first one I'm going to recommend is A Climate of Change. And this is something that's on Eventbrite. It's on Wednesday. There's 2 sessions, but basically it's an opportunity for young people to talk about their experiences throughout COVID. So I think that's really, really important. So Wednesday, 4 till 5, it's for 8 to 15-year-olds. And then 6 till 7, it's for 16 to 24-year-olds. I think that the sessions, I think that it's a really good thing, and I'm hoping that I can get my young people to be involved in that. And it's going to be done, it's going to be facilitated through music, art, songwriting, poetry. In fact, I'm not sure why you aren't doing this, Rob. It sounds like sounds like something you'd
Yeah,
be
what
doing,
have you got for us, Robin?
Sorry.
What have you got for us then, Robin?
Okay, yeah. My first one is not wishing to promote different festivals, but alongside ours, there's a festival going on called Bedlam. It's actually based in Birmingham and Solihull, but they have a really, really good online offer. And I checked it all out this morning. There's 5, 6, maybe even 7 kind of shows that are already recorded, so you can look at them at any time. But it's basically it's a festival around art and mental health. And it's kind of really, really great looking event. So I definitely want to, in your other downtime, have a look at that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think last year there was, well, not all of the time, but there were other festivals going on in Disability History Month. And, always look out for all sorts of Disability History Month events. The official launch, I believe, is later today, but of course, we've already officially started. I just very quickly wanted to flag up that Leonard Cheshire is offering seated and wheelchair-based dance sessions for free every Friday from 11 to 12. So I'm going to put the link up for that. Julie, what have you got for us?
Well, I was really excited to find on Sunday, excuse me. I do
It's all
beg your
this
pardon.
cat hair.
It is that cat here. I found something which I think is absolutely right up our street. I'm going to read it out because there's quite a lot of information here.
Oh, just give us the very quick details, Judy. Don't read the whole thing.
It's called Laugh and Draw, and it's between 5 and 6, and it's an opportunity to draw objects chosen by 4 comedians, and that's including the lovely Rosie Jones. It's booked through Eventbrite. It's free, but donations are welcomed.
Brilliant. So I think we've got room for just one more from the West Midlands.
Yeah. Well, sticking to my usual things that I can find on the TV, this is another one of those programs where it's a TV sort of competitive, see what you can do with different materials. Well, this one is about woodwork, and it's amazing what these people can come up with. I watched it on, so I'll give you the basic details. It's on Channel 4. It's on a Thursday evening at 8 o'clock, but with everything, you can always find it recorded, it'll be streaming. And it's called Britain's Best Woodworker.
Yeah, I caught one of those episodes and thought it was absolutely fascinating. So that's pretty much all we've got time for, unless anybody's got a very quick one they're just dying to tell us.
Well, I just really, really quickly, we haven't talked about books very much, but there's an author called Harlan Coben, and he's written the series called the Myron Bolitar series. It's kind of pretty gritty American thriller stuff. But the books are available kind of Kindle, paperback, audio, Audible, everywhere. well priced as well. But what I love about it, I mean, they're really, really good stories, a bit adult sometimes. But I'm utterly impressed. I mean, as a writer myself, how he's created this whole world, whole series of books. But then there are other books that aren't in the series, but all the characters cross over. It's like a kind of ongoing written soap. It's really, really good stuff.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I spend a lot of time reading, and you're absolutely right. You know, at the end of the day, there's nothing like settling down with a good book. But first, of course, do come to our festival, particularly if you're watching this on a Thursday, on a Thursday tonight from 7 to 8, we're having a laugh. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are our regular show nights all the way through to the 9th of December, where Robin will be introducing some of the musicians you've seen recently on this live stream as part of our end of festival party. But now it's goodbye from us. And finally, we're going to hand over to Robin for his latest interview, this time with...
Today we are meeting Elle Chante. Elle will be performing, fingers crossed, on December the 9th as well. She is a West Midlands based artist, and I think you'll enjoy what she does. Hi viewers, today I am interviewing a new artist to Together 2012 who is called Elle Chante. I think it's probably best if you tell us who you are.
So I am a artist based in the West Midlands, and I'm a singer-songwriter and producer primarily.
And importantly to our show, do you define yourself as a disabled person?
Yes, I do. I struggle with invisible illnesses, and often get mistaken for not being disabled. But yeah, definitely identify personally as disabled.
No, I think that's really interesting. You know, because it's always good for us to kind of see the differences that you know, people with visible impairments and invisible impairments experience, particularly in the arts world. What is your art form?
So I work in music, and I've always loved music for a really long time, and then started producing in the last 2 years as well to kind of go along with that. And I mostly sing, play guitar, and in performances, sometimes I use a live looping station.
Okay, and for those who don't know, what is a live looping station?
So basically, I'll sing or play something to a time, and then I will record and loop it, so it will play again, and then I'll like build it up into layers to make a song.
And you do all that live?
Yes, it's very nerve-wracking.
What sort of music genre would you describe your creations as?
I think I'm a bit genre bending. So I generally kind of classify it as ambient because my vocal's quite soft, and that kind of goes into the music no matter what sort of genre I'm in. But I've done stuff that's a bit more orchestral. I did a lot of work in electronic music as a featured artist for a while on you know, things like UKF and Liquidity and stuff like that. So, and now my genre of self-producing is kind of like a ambient electronic orchestral mash, which sounds strange.
No, I mean, I've listened to it and I get what you're saying. I mean, it's a kind of a mix of different kinds of sounds put together. You mentioned a couple of platforms there, UKF and something else. Could you just elaborate a little on what they are?
So UKF is like a really big electronic music platform on YouTube and is a label. So I've worked with a producer called Bert H. She's based in Russia, and we have a track on there for any electronic music heads out there. And Liquidity as well is it's like drum and bass sort of thing. So yeah, I've worked in drum bass house, for Future Garage and stuff like that. And then decided that I kind of wanted to make my own musical creations. So I've been working on that after.
Okay, I mean, it sounds really interesting, and you're certainly making progress. So thinking about the fact that you're now moving much more into a kind of expressive phase of your own work, you have recently performed a live show, or created and curated a live show called Seasick. Would you like to tell us a bit more about that?
I'm part of an organisation called Radical Body, and we make disabled-led art by and for disabled people. So Seasick was one of the projects that we were working on. Me and my very good friend Tom Walters. It was a 50-minute piece of poetry combined with singing and acting. So it was really interesting. We also worked on it in a very flexible way to kind of, like, it's difficult going into theatre and places where like rules are very, this is a normal theatre working day, etc., etc. And we really kind of worked with the Belgrade theatres to break that down, doing days that were comfortable for us, trying to make it as accessible for us, so that, because putting on a show is very stressful and we needed to make sure that we were like looking after our health at the same time. But yes, with the actual show, Seasick it's a show about coming to terms with chronic illness, using like metaphors of the sea, and singing and poetry, and very good.
I know it's always hard to describe your own work.
It definitely is, yeah.
and kind of not sounding horribly immodest. So you did the show live 10 days ago, was it, or a week or so ago?
Yeah, it was on 29th of October.
You're probably one of a few acts that's actually now been back out into the live world performing. How did that feel?
It was strange. I think it's been strange because before COVID, I wasn't performing because my own health kind of just made it really difficult for me to perform. So I was focusing a lot more on recording. And that was incidentally how I got into the recording. So I was stuck at home and I was like, what am I going to do? And still wanted to like do music and stuff, but wasn't sure how to do it, and started just messaging people on SoundCloud at the time, and getting into collaborations through that. So going into performance after COVID shut everything down, without performing that much just before COVID as well, was really interesting. And yeah, I remember like the first time I like went into a shop or something and like tried on clothes, and I felt, oh gosh, this is like madness. I felt so naughty. It's very strange. It's a strange experience. At the same time, it was really lovely to like see audience in person, but we like really wanted to make sure it was accessible for people that aren't necessarily at a point where they feel comfortable leaving the house or they feel safe to leave the house, which is why we did the live streaming setup and everything, and it was BSL interpreted and live captioned as well. So yeah, and we had more people on the live stream than we did in person, which at the beginning we was like, oh, we're going to end up like performing to an empty theatre. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's blind for disabled people. So if we get those disabled people on the stream, like that's what we wanted. So yeah, it was really good. Like, I think we were really happy with how it went.
Fabulous. And is it available to download, or have you got any plans to kind of have it as a streamable show?
So it was streamable over the weekend after we performed it, but it's not currently streamable at the moment. However, we're looking at potentially touring the show afterwards, and then so we're kind of in conversations about that and how and when that might happen.
Well, it's so good to hear, some really positive stuff in the disability arts world coming through. Elle, lovely to meet you today and to hear about all the stuff that you've been doing and your plans for the future. Really importantly, you've got some material that people can watch now, and we've got a video to show our viewers. Could you please introduce that? And thank you so much for today.
Yes, so this is Safe. It was a Drake Music Emergent Commission with a lyric video by Chris Hatlin, and it was mixed by Robert Dickin. So, yeah, please enjoy.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
There's a voice inside my head. You'll never be enough. Might as well give it up. On and on it never ends. Oh, what's the point of chasing dreams left?